Unit 15, Reading and Visualizing Gender. Write a note on the terms connotation and denotation. So, denotation and connotation are two important terms used in the language, literature, and communication to understand how words create meaning. Denotation refers to the literal dictionary meaning of a word. It is the precise, basic, and objective definition that everyone generally agrees upon. Denotation and connotation. For example, the word rose denotes a type of flower. Denotation does not involve emotions, attitudes, or cultural association. It focuses only on what the word directly represents. Connotation, on the other hand, refers to the emotional, culture, or suggested meaning that a word carries in addition to its denotative meaning. These meanings may be positive, negative, or neutral depending on the context and the people's experiences. For example, the same word rose connotes love, beauty, romance, and affection. Connotation often shape how people respond to words, giving them deeper symbolic value. Understanding both denotation and connotation important because language plays a what the fuck was that? Literal meanings, but also about feelings, association, and interpretations. Writers and the speaker use connotation purposefully to influence emotions, create imagery, or express attitudes. Therefore, effective communication requires awareness of both what a word directly means and what it suggests beyond its dictionary and definition. Define representation. How do women represent themselves? Representation. Representation refers to the way the people, ideas, events, and identities are portrayed or depicted in language, media, culture, and society. It involves selecting certain images, symbols, narratives, and meanings to present a particular reality. Representation influences how individuals and groups are understood by others and how they understand themselves. It is never neutral, it is shaped by power, culture, ideology, and social structures. Through representation, society constructs meaning about gender, race, class, and other identities. So, women represent themselves in multiple ways, shaped by the personal experiences, cultural expectation, and social changes. Over time, women have challenged traditional portrayals and created new spaces to express their identities. First is the through personal narratives and the lived experiences. Women share their experiences through writing, art, social media, activism, and storytelling. These narratives present women as thinkers, workers, leaders, mothers, and the individuals with diverse identities. Second, through media and the cultural production. Women represent themselves as the professionals in films, advertisements, and literature. Independent individuals capable of making choices, creative artists producing films, books, music, and digital content. They challenge stereotypes like the passive woman or the idle homemaker by showing real, complex identities. Third one is the through political and the social participation. Women represent themselves by participating in movements. Example, hashtag Me Too, leading campaigns for the rights, equality, and justice, creating space for dialogue on the gender issues. The representation shows women as active agents of the social change. Fourth, through reclaiming their bodies and voices, women challenge objectification by asserting control over their bodies, clothing, sexuality, personal choices. They reject the idea that society can define their worth based on beauty standards or domestic roles. Fifth, through education and professional achievements, women represent themselves as the scholars, entrepreneurs, scientists, athletes, and the political leaders. Their achievement breaks stereotypes and redefine gender roles. Conclusion, women's representation has shifted from being shaped by society to being actively shaped by women themselves. By expressing their voices, challenging stereotypes, and asserting independence, women create more accurate and diverse representation that reflect their realities and aspiration. What are the terms endearment that women resent and why? गिल्लू. Huh? Terms of endearment that women resent. Endearment that women resent. These terms of endearment are words used to express affection, such as dear, sweetheart, baby, honey, or girl. While these terms can be positive in close personal relationship, many women resent them in public, professional, or formal settings. This resentment comes from social culture and the gender-based reasons. First one is they are often patronizing or infantilizing. Words like sweetie, baby, dear, or girl can make a woman feel treated like a child rather than an equal adult. They imply that the woman is immature, less competent, needing and guidance. It is the infantilizing and patronizing. This is especially problematic in workplaces where women expect respect, not diminishment. Second is they reflect unequal power dynamics. Such terms often come from men in positions of authority, suggesting dominance, superiority, entitlement to speak informally. Women resent this because it undermines their professional identity and status. Third is they blur professional boundaries. In offices, public places, or the formal interactions, using such terms can feel inappropriate. It makes women uncomfortable because it introduces unwanted familiarity and the violates personal space, central gender based discomfort. Fourth one is they can carry sexual or romantic overtones. Terms like baby, beautiful, love, or sweetheart may imply romantic interest. Many women resent this because it objectifies them, it reduces their identity to appearance, it creates an unsafe or awkward environment. Fifth one is they reinforce gender stereotypes. These terms often come from assumption that women should be gentle, soft, emotional, cute, or delicate. Women reject such labels because they limit their roles and reinforce stereotypes. Six, they are not used equally for men. Men are rarely called sweetie or dear in public or professional context. This inequality makes the practice feel sexist and women resent sexist. And women resent double standard. Conclusion: women resent certain terms of endearment because they are often patronizing, disrespectful, intimate, sexist, or unprofessional. They prefer being addressed by their names or professional titles, which affirm their dignity, adulthood, and equality. Explain visualization and its importance for gender study. Visualization refers to the mental process of forming images, ideas, or impressions in the mind. It involves imagining people, scenes, activities, or concepts based on memories, culture information, social conditioning, or media representation. Visualization is not only a psychological activity but also a social process because what we imagine is shaped by the norms, roles, and expectations that society teaches us. In gender studies, visualization becomes a powerful tool to understand how people see masculinity, femininity, and gender identities in their minds even before they meet real individuals. Importance of visualization for gender studies. First is that it reveals socially constructed gender norms. When people visualize a woman or a man, they often imagine them with specific behaviors, appearances, and roles. For example, a woman may be visualized as caring, soft spoken, or nurturing. A man may be visualized as strong, assertive, or dominant. These mental images show how society constructs gendered expectations. And second, it helps identify stereotypes. Visualization exposes the stereotypes that shape behavior and expectations. Imagining a nurse as a woman and a pilot as a man reveals the bias association that society internalizes. Studying these visual patterns helps understand how stereotypes limit opportunities for both genders. Third, it shows the influence of media and culture. Photos, movies, advertisement, textbooks, and the social media shape how we visualize gender. For example, beauty standards, the ideal mother, or the macho hero all come from culture representation. Gender studies usually uses visualization to analyze how these images affect identity and behavior. Fourth is it helps us understand gender based discrimination. Visualization helps explain why certain forms of discrimination occur. If society visualizes leadership as masculine, women may face obstacles in politics or management. If femininity is visualized as weak, women may not be taken seriously in decision making spaces. Thus, visualization reveals the root of inequalities. Fifth, it encourages critical thinking. By examining our own visualization, we question why do we imagine gender this way? Who taught us these ideas? Are these images fair or biased? This critical reflection is essential in general studies to challenge outdated norms. Sixth is the it supports reimagining gender roles. Visualization helps develop new and equal representation. By imagining women as scientists, leaders, athletes, or entrepreneurs, society can shift towards more progressive gender roles. It also helps normalize non binary and diverse gender identities. Conclusion: visualization is a key analytical tool in gender studies because it exposes hidden stereotypes, cultural influences, and internalized biases in society. By understanding how we mentally picture gender, we can challenge unequal power structure and work toward more inclusive, realistic, and empowering representation of all genders. तो क्या हुआ? Gender attribution is a process. In this process, society ascribes or assigns a sex or gender onto an individual with or without knowing concretely what sex that person is or what gender they identify as. The ability to use language, whether oral or written, is one of the most important characteristics of the human beings. इश्क विच उड्डिया तू कख जानी सोनी. What attributes would come to your mind while visualizing mother? When visualizing a mother, several attributes and qualities often come to mind, reflecting both societal expectations and the personal experiences. These can be grouped into emotional, physical, and social attributes. First is the emotional attributes: caring and nurturing, productive, patient, empathetic, sacrificial. Second is the physical attributes: gentle touch, smiling or comforting presence, hardworking, appearance linked with care. Third is the social and the behavioral attributes: teacher and guide, supportive, multitasker, role model. Then we have the symbolic attributes. It is the unconditional love, strength, and resilience, anchor of the family balance. While visualizing a mother, one usually thinks of love, care, protection, patience, and strength, both in emotional and the practical terms. These attributes reflect the culture and the personal expectation of motherhood and often highlight the central role mothers play in family life. What is gender stereotyping? Give two examples: one male, one female stereotype. Gender stereotyping refers to the process of ascribing specific roles, behaviors, or attributes to individual based solely on their gender. These stereotypes are socially constructed and often limit people's opportunities, choices, and self-expression. They are oversimplified generalization that assume all men or all women behave in a particular way. Example, female stereotype: women are caring and nurturing, suited only for household work or childcare. This stereotype assumes women cannot be leaders, professionals, or independent decision makers. Male stereotype is that men are strong, aggressive, and dominant, suited only for work outside the home. This stereotype assumes men are unemotional and should not participate in caregiving or domestic responsibilities. Gender stereotypes restrict personal freedom and reinforce inequality by imposing rigid expectations on the men and women. Challenging these stereotypes is essential for achieving gender equality and allowing individuals to pursue their true potential. Write a note on close reading. Close reading is a careful, detailed, and analytical approach to understanding a text. Reading is a multivalent role. It does not only mean reading a given line or text or message, it connotes what is hidden behind the obvious. Every word is invested with meaning. Every sentence can be interpreted in various forms as per the suggested meaning. Thus, literal description becomes a tool that helps us to see a situation and lead us to the multiple meaning of the language. For example, a male character is a story or a play or novel calls a woman babe. Babe is a diminutive word. A baby or babe is small, helpless, and dependent. There is no doubt that this is a term of endearment, but it reduces a woman to non-entity. It displays the authority of the man, and in its ultimate analysis it speaks of male domination. Till recently, women did not object to this appellation because it was considered a flattering personal compliment. But when feminism made women aware of the effect of language and the power play, women realized that this is not a compliment to their sex. They found it offensive and took objection to it. Likewise, words like queen, princess, honey, kitten, and doll are insulting, and women have started rejecting these as their sex privatization stereotype. These appellations have superficial attributes and they encourage men to see women as helpless and dependent. The side effect is women are described only by such superficial attributes. Conversely, men appear more individual and strong on whom women depend. Socially, women are expected to express their individuality through their physical appearance or beauty, through caring, not out gender role. They are thus a stereotype as a class. They look like they think alike and they are beautiful but have no brains. Such socio-cultural parameters keep sex oppression going on. The image becomes extension of oneself. It gets hard to distinguish the real person from his latest image. Men see women not only as an image but as an image of the sex appeal. Next we have the unit 14. What do you understand by the term mass media? दो या तीन. Mass media refers to the channels or technologies used to communicate information, ideas, news, and entertainment to a large, diverse. ये वाला बंद करना है, ये वाला. मैंने क्या बोला? Communicate information, ideas, news, and entertainment to a large, diverse audience simultaneously. It acts as a bridge between information producers like journalists, filmmakers, or organizations and the general public. Mass media plays a crucial role in shaping opinions, spreading knowledge, and influencing culture and society. The key features of mass media are the wide reach. It can address millions of the people at once. Communication of information disseminates news, education, entertainment, and advertisements. Public influence shape public opinion. पानी कितना डाला था? Social norms and the cultural trends. Use of technology includes newspapers, radio, television, films, internet, and social media. Then we have the impersonal nature. Communication is often one way from the source to the audience. Mass media is a powerful tool that informs, educates, and entertains society. It also plays a major role in creating awareness, influencing attitudes, and promoting social change. Mass media refers to the channels or technologies used to create. पानी कितना डाला था? हाँ तो फुल कर बस एक दो में हो जाएगा. Mass media plays a crucial role in shaping opinions, spreading knowledge, and influencing culture and society. एक और होने देना. Discuss the various classification of media. Media can be classified based on the method of communication and technology used or the audience it serves. Understanding these classifications helps in analyzing how information is disseminated and consumed. First is the print media, media that conveys information through printed materials, example newspaper, magazine, journal, newsletters, brochures. Characteristics: it provides detailed information, permanent record, reaches literate audiences. Importance: it promotes literacy, informs public opinion, and educates societies. Second is the broadcast media. Media that uses electronic technology to transmit information to a large audience, example television, radio, and films. Its characteristics are the immediate communication, audio-visual appeal, reaches a wide audience, including illiterate people, entertainment, mass education, and awareness campaigns. Third is the digital or new media. Media that operates on the internet or digital platforms, example websites, social media, blogs, online news portals, and mobile apps. Interactive and participatory, instant updates, global reach. Importance: enables two-way communication, engagement, and rapid dissemination of information. Outdoor or visual media. Media that communicates messages in public spaces, example billboards, posters, hoardings, banners, public display. Or it is highly visible, short, and impactful messages, continuous exposure, advertising, social awareness, campaigns, and the public announcement. Traditional or folk media. Media rooted in cultural practices and community communication. Example: puppetry, street plays, folk songs, storytelling, and community gatherings. Its characteristics are the oral and the performative, locally relevant, engages communities directly. Importance: it preserves culture, educates, and informs people at the grassroots level. Traditional or folk media, puppetry, street styles, folk songs, storytelling, and community gatherings. Media can be classified into print, broadcast, digital, outdoor, and traditional folk media. Each type has its own strengths, audience reach, and impact on society. Understanding this classification helps in designing effective communication strategies and promoting awareness, education, and entertainment. What do you understand by the objectification of women? Oh. Objectification of women refers to the treatment of women as objects for others' use, pleasure, or evaluation, rather than as human beings with thoughts, feelings, and agency. It reduces a woman's identity to her physical appearance, sexuality, or usefulness, ignoring her personality, intelligence, or individuality. It focuses on the appearance, emphasizing women's look over their skills or abilities. Sexualization, presenting women primarily as sexual objects for male desire. Instrumental use, using women for entertainment, advertisement, or profit. ignoring agency, overlooking women's choice, opinions, and autonomy. Example, advertising that highlights only a woman's body to sell products, media or films that portray women as decorative or submissive roles. Impact, it reinforces gender stereotypes, contributes to violence, harassment, and discrimination, limits women participation in public, professional, and the personal life. Conclusion, objectification of women devalues them as individuals and reduces their social, professional, and personal roles to mere objects of appearance or utility. Challenging these practices is essential for achieving gender equality and respecting women's dignity. Men and women are portrayed in advertisements according to the constructed definition of femininity and masculinity. Comment. Portrayal of men and women in advertisements. Advertisements are a powerful medium that reflects and reinforces societal norms, values, and stereotypes. In many cases, men and women are portrayed according to socially constructed definitions of the masculinity and femininity, which are cultural ideas about how men and women should look, behave, and interact. First one is the portrayal of women. Women in advertisements are often depicted based on the traditional notions of femininity, which emphasize physical beauty and attractiveness. Women are shown as slim, well dressed, and glamorous to appeal to adults of the sexual attractiveness. Domestic roles. Many ads show women as caretakers, homemakers, or nurturing figures responsible for children, family, and the household chores, passivity, or dependence. Women are often shown needing assistance, being impressed by the men, or existing primarily to enhance someone else's life. Then we have the emotional appeal. Women are portrayed as the gentle, caring, sensitive, or emotional. Example, an ad for a kitchen appliance showing a smiling woman cooking for her family, beauty or skincare products emphasizing that woman's value lies in her appearance. Second, we have the portrayal of men. Men are depicted according to socially constructed masculinity, which emphasizes strength and dominance. Men are shown as physically strong, confident, and assertive. Provider and protector roles. Ads often depict men as breadwinners or decision makers in family or business contexts. Rationality and competence. Men are portrayed as logical, ambitious, and problem solvers. Sexual power. Sometimes men are depicted as sexually desirable or dominant figures. Example, an ad showing a man driving a powerful car or making a financial decision. A fitness advertisement highlighting a man's muscular physique. Impact of these portrayals. Reinforcement of gender stereotype. These portrayals perpetuate narrow ideas of what men and women can or should be. Influence on self perception. Women may feel pressure to meet unrealistic beauty standards. Men may feel pressure to be strong, aggressive, or dominant. Ad shape perceptions about products linking them to gender roles. Example, cleaning products for women, tech gadgets for women. Changing trends. Some men So, modern advertising challenges these stereotypes by showing women in leadership roles or men in nurturing roles, reflecting evolving ideas of gender equality. However, traditional portraits still dominate many mainstream media comparisons, indicating that cultural construction of femininity and masculinity continues to strongly influence advertising. Advertisement often reflect the socially constructed definitions of the femininity and masculinity, reinforcing traditional gender roles. Women are shown as attractive, nurturing, and dependent, while men are portrayed as strong, independent, and dominant. Recognizing and challenging these stereotypes is essential for promoting more realistic and equitable representation of the both genders. Write a short note on new media. New media is also known as new media or global media. It is are those that are recent in origin. The most important feature of the new communication technology is interactivity. While in the case of television, radio, and the other electronic media, communication is only a one-way process. Their interactive capabilities are the very limited because feedback is delayed. However, in new communication technologies, we can get immediate responses and feedback because of advanced techniques of communication. Modern media transmits signals instantly from one source to any destination in the whole globe by modern electronic technology. The new communication technologies are based on the 5A. Anyone can transfer any information at any time, at any place to anyone. The media or the global media are capable of a much higher degree of interactivity than those offered by the traditional communication technology. The use of computers in one form or the other is an integral part of the most of the modern communication technologies. Oh yeah, its key features are the digital and interactive, instant access, global reach, user participation. It spreads news and information quickly, encourages social interactions and collaboration. It empowers marginalized voices and supports activism. It influences public opinion, culture, and consumer behavior. New media has transformed communication by making it interactive, fast, and globally accessible, allowing people not only to receive information but also to contribute and influence the digital landscape. Okay, here we have the electronic media as the radio, cinema, television. It is one of the most dramatic developments of the 20th century has been the invention of the radio waves. Radio has become a means of communication of the unparalleled immediacy. Print media. It came first to Goa in 1556 and penetrated into Kolkata and inland provinces through. Folk media or traditional media is an excellent tool to enhance communication and promote dialogue at the grassroots level of any society. Puppetry is also a form of folk media that is entertaining and informative. Ancient Hindu philosophers have paid the greatest tribute to puppeteers. Folk, print, electronic, new. Books, pamphlets, magazines, electronic, radio, cinema, television. Media is considered as a mirror of the modern society. Indian factors of India, which shapes and lives and perspectives. Society is influenced by media in so many ways. It is a media for the masses that helps them to get the information about a lot of things and also to form opinions and make judgments regarding various issues. It is a media which keeps us updated and informed about what is happening around us in the world. There is a need to learn to assess, analyze, and interpret media messages. Media is like a light bulb that creates an environment by its mere presence. The media has grown immensely, and the term is used in the modern sense of reference to the agencies of mass communication at one time missing but desperately desired. Served as a means of communication designed to reach and influence every large numbers of media as the communication channels through which news, entertainment, education, data, or emotional messages are disseminated. Media is an umbrella term that includes all types of print, broadcast, out of home, and interactive communication. It includes all things that carry brand messages. It includes newspapers, magazines, television, radio, cinema, billboards, mail, telephone, fax, and now the internet. This media refers to the means of delivering and the receiving data or information. In other words, media is a form of dispensing information. The term is also commonly used in the place of mass media or news media. Media consists of the various means by which information reaches large number of people such as television, radio, movies, newspapers and the internet. Mass media has been defined as the terms of the means of communication designed to reach and influence very large numbers of the people. Now unit 13. It is the gender and language. Write a short note on the gender identities, gender stereotype in 20 words each. Okay. Gender identity is the personal understanding of oneself as male, female, both, neither, or anywhere on the gender spectrum shaped by society and self. And the gender stereotype is fixed beliefs about abilities, roles, and behaviors of men and women, often limiting opportunities and reinforcing inequality. A social and cultural classification of people as male, female, or non binary based on the roles, behaviors, and expectation. What are the cultural factors responsible for gender specific language? Gender specific language refers to the differences is in how men and women use language, influenced by the cultural norms, tradition, and social expectations. Various cultural factors shape these differences. Social roles and expectations. Societies assign different roles to men and women, which influence how they speak. Example, women may be expected to be polite, gentle, or nurturing, using softer words or indirect speech, while men may be encouraged to be assertive or dominate in conversation. Family and upbringing. Language habits are learned early from parents, relatives, and the caregivers. Boys and the girls may be taught different ways of speaking and according to societal expectations of masculinity and femininity. Example, girls may be praised for being sweet and using polite requests. Boys may be encouraged to speak boldly. Education and peer influence. Schools and peer groups reinforce gender language patterns. Boys and girls often adopt different vocabulary, tone, or style to fit in with their peer groups and avoid social sanctions. Media and popular culture. Television, films, advertisement, and social media propagate gender speech patterns. Women are often shown speaking politely, emotionally, or in supportive roles. Men are depicted as assertive, loud, or controlling. Religious and traditional beliefs, cultural norms derived from religion or tradition influence communication styles. In some cultures, women are expected to be quiet, submissive, and respectful in public, while men are allowed to more freedom of speech and expression. Occupational and professional expectations. Certain professions have gendered language norms. For example, female nurses may use more empathetic, caring language, while male managers may adopt authoritative or directive speech. Culture factors like social roles, family upbringing, education, media, tradition, and occupation play a major role in shaping gender specific language. Language bias. Sexist language is a language which excludes women and considers men as the norm. It shows gender bias. For example, yes, this bias is obvious in the manipulation language used women. Women I know men only because he or man should be women to for some everyone has to his duty. Appellation MR is independent and does not need women's derivative like dog, bitch, wizard, witch. Specify gender unnecessarily. Write a note on language bias. Language bias refers to the use of words, expressions, or communication patterns that favor, discriminate against, or marginalize certain individuals or group based on the gender, caste, class, race, or other social factors. It reflects social prejudices and can reinforce stereotypes, inequality, and discrimination. Forms of language bias is using words that privilege one gender over another. Example, chairman instead of the chairperson. Racial or cultural bias using terms that demean or stereotype specific communities. Occupational bias assigning gender specific roles in language. Example, nurse assumed female, engineer assumed male. Effects reinforces stereotypes and discrimination, limits social and professional opportunities, shapes perception and thought patterns. Conclusion, language bias subtly influences how society views people and roles. Awareness and conscious use of the inclusive, neutral language can promote equality and respect for all individuals. Demonstrate the relationship between gender and language. Language is not just a tool for communication, it also reflects social roles, cultural norms, and power structures. The way men and women use language often differs, and these differences are shaped by the gender expectation. Communication styles. Women often use polite, supportive, and cooperative language, reflecting cultural expectations of the femininity. Men tend to use assertive, direct, or competitive language, reflecting norms of masculinity. Vocabulary and expression. Certain words or phrases are associated with the one gender. Example, women may use words expressing emotion, care, or appearance. Men may use words emphasizing strength, action, or dominance. Conversation patterns. Women may ask more questions, seek agreement, and